So this video has been a very long time in the making, but I can officially say it's finally done. And it feels great. I feel like this is going to genuinely help the Fallout 76 community over what to invest our gold bullion in. In this video, I tried to compile and review everything that I think is worth our gold bullion. So I cover Vault 79's inventory and everything that I think is worth it and why. I also cover the Raiders faction inventory in this, as well as the Settlers faction inventory in this too. So if you're looking for a video reviewing different things that we can get with gold bullion, you found the right one. I literally tried to compile everything in this one video to once again genuinely help the Fallout 76 community. I mean, I could have reviewed a lot of these individually, and then I would have uploaded a bunch of different videos, and that would have probably have gotten me more views, but I feel like just compiling everything in one video would be more useful for players, so they don't have to continue searching through the search engine. Hopefully what the player is curious about will be located in this video to save some players some more time instead of having to search around through different videos. I try to be as informative as I can over pretty much everything that I do cover within this. So hopefully this does help you all out in some kind of way. And if you do find this enjoyable or useful, please consider taking a little bit of your time and leaving a like on the video. The support is greatly appreciated. It means a lot, especially how long I spent on this. As always though, that's totally up to you. Just leaving a friendly reminder here in the beginning before we get into all of this. Now, I will mention I didn't go too much into detail on weapon modifications, just an FYI, but I do go into detail over all of the weapons that I do think are worth it, as well as pretty much all of the weapons that I don't think are worth it. So, of course, the weapons that are worth it, you are going to want to invest into the weapon modifications too. But yeah, now let's go ahead and get into this comprehensive review over the things that we can purchase with gold bullion. Hopefully this helps you all out in some kind of way. Enjoy. Alrighty, so I guess to start this off, let's go ahead and review the best things to purchase over at Vault 79. Now, in case you don't know how to gain access into this place, you just have to complete the Wastelander's story. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Anyways, let's go ahead and head on down and talk to one of the Secret Service agents. Okay, so once down here, you just want to head on over here and talk to Rags. As you can see, you can trade gold bullion with this guy. And this guy has a bunch of stuff that you can purchase. It can be a little overwhelming trying to decide what you should invest your gold bullion in, especially since there's so much to choose from here. Now I'm going to be trying to gather, in my opinion, the best things to go after. So to start this off, I think the Secret Service armor is definitely worth it. And altogether, you're going to be spending, without the modifications, 4,250 gold bullion on the Secret Service set. This total is not including the helmet. You do not need to purchase the helmet whatsoever. That's only for looks. So if you want to just have it for looks, then you can. But it's not really that beneficial, especially for its price, 1,650 gold bullion. We do not need to purchase the helmet whatsoever. It only gives a bit of environmental protection. It doesn't give you any extra damage resistance or energy resistance. So for the most part, it's only for looks. Personally, it is definitely not worth the 1,650 gold bullion. Honestly, all the pieces that you want to invest in are the right leg, right arm, left leg, left arm, and the chest piece. That's all you need. And, of course, modifications, but I'm going to be getting into those next. So yeah, after you purchase all 5 of these pieces from Regs, here's around the resistance that you could be looking at. 470 plus damage resistance, 460 plus energy resistance, and 300 plus radiation resistance. And keep in mind, these resistance stats here are with no perk card buffs whatsoever. So overall, this armor set is definitely one of the absolute best armor sets that you can get your hands on in Fallout 76. So it's definitely worth to invest your gold bullion in. Of course, if you're not a power armor build. If you are a power armor build, I'll be getting more into what you should be investing in here further in this video. But now, let's go ahead and get into the modifications that I suggest to invest in for the Secret Service armor set. The modifications that you want to go after, I guess it really just depends on your build and how you're looking. But some modifications that I highly suggest checking out is the Secret Service jetpack armor. This is going to cost a whopping 2,000 gold bullion though. You're going to have at least the Secret Service chest piece to get the jetpack on too, so keep that in mind as well. So altogether, you're going to be spending about, let's see here, 3,250 gold bullion getting the jetpack to work, because this modification only works with the Secret Service chest piece. But still, this is a lot of fun to play with. Also, another one that I highly suggest is the buttress modifications. What this will do is, as you can see, it'll give you superior damage resistance and exceptional radiation resistance and energy resistance. And you want to make sure you get the legs and armor buttress modifications as well. This will also give you bonus damage resistance, energy resistance, and radiation resistance. And once again, it all depends on your build as well. Those are just some good modifications that I do suggest to look into. You know, the resistance stats that I just went over earlier in this video, the reason why they are that high is because of the buttress modifications. They help out tremendously on increasing your resistance. Definitely recommend getting this modification as well as the jetpack too. Oh, and by the way, in case you don't know how to make the Secret Service pieces legendary, all you have to do is, well, first off, learn the plan out of your inventory once you purchase it for gold bullion, and then you're going to want to head on over to the Rusty Pick and purchase legendary modules from the purveyor. As you can see here, 10 of them is going to cost me 500 script. And then once you purchase the legendary modules, that's when you can officially craft legendary pieces, which depending on what you're crafting, for instance, we're crafting the armor pieces, so we're going to be going up to an armor's workbench, and we're just going to go down to the Secret Service category here and choose the piece that you're wanting to make into a legendary. If you thought grinding the gold bullion was a grind to get the plans, well, let me just tell you, this can be even more of a grind to get the right legendary effects that you need on the weapons or armor. In our case, we're talking armor here. You can easily spend thousands of script trying to get the right legendary effects. I mean, I just spent, for instance, 500 script and bought 10 legendary modules and spent it directly on just the Secret Service torso, and I unfortunately didn't get anything that I thought was worth keeping. This is honestly the true grind, trying to get the right legendary effects that you're wanting with the legendary modules. But it does pay off in the end when you do get the pieces that you're wanting, because this is, after all, the top tier gear. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering about the base resistance, as you can see here, it's around 255 physical damage resistance, 235 energy resistance, and 435 radiation resistance. However, keep this in mind that these stats are actually a little higher than what the base resistance is for the full Secret Service armor set. In case you don't know what I'm talking about the base resistance, I'm talking without modifications, perk cards, or anything that'll give you buffs with your resistance. I'm talking about the resistance that purely comes from the armor set alone. But you get with the full set regularly with the Secret Service set without any buffs whatsoever, 250 physical damage resistance, 220 energy resistance, and 220 radiation resistance. Once again, this is the best armor set that you can possibly get in the game, so of course, it's definitely worth the grind. Also, this is the only armor set that you can modify a jetpack on. So, I mean, that right there, in my opinion, makes it worth it to grind the gold bullion to get your hands on this set. I mean, you don't technically need the whole set to get the jetpack, but of course, you're going to be wanting the whole set. The real grind, like I mentioned before, though, is going to be coming from the legendary modules and trying to get your hands on the legendary pieces that you're wanting. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Secret Service armor set. Now, another set that I do suggest to check out is T65. If you are trying to make like a power armor tank build, T65, you can get extremely tanky within it. Now, there is another power armor set that is pretty interesting. It's the Strangler Heart power armor set, which you used to be able to get this from the Vault 94 raid, but Bethesda temporarily closed that down to do some maintenance on it, and now they made it so we can get this from regs here. I will say the Strangler Heart power armor is pretty solid overall, but really the main thing that comes out of the Strangler Heart is the extra damage that you can get with its acid damage effect, which you get this effect once you have all of the pieces on at once. As you can see, you get +4 acid damage per second, and nearby enemies take acid damage. Overall, a pretty solid effect. But yeah, the effect is literally called Strangler Heart. However, the downfall is, sure, you're going to be doing a bit more damage with the acid damage. However, you're not going to be as tanky as you would within T65. So I guess it boils down to, if you are a power armor user, it just depends on the build you're rolling with. Personally, to me, I think T65 is more precious than the Strangler heart, but other people may think differently about that. The reason why I think the T65 power armor set is worth it more than going after the Strangler heart power armor set first, you know, as a collector, we got to get them all sooner or later, especially if we like rocking power armor. At least for me, I got to collect them. But yeah, the reason why I think T65 would be worth it more to invest gold bullion in first is because I already have high enough damage. I don't really need the extra damage. However, the more resistance to me, the better. And this power armor specifically has the best resistance stats out of all the other power armors. Here's some quick examples for some proof. The X01 power armor set can give you 400 physical damage resistance, 455 energy resistance, and 453 radiation resistance. And for the T51B power armor set base resistance, we're looking at around 456 physical damage resistance, 456 energy resistance, and 310 radiation resistance. And keep in mind, this is without any modifications as well. You can get higher resistance than what I'm showing here with like perk cards, and there's different modifications you can put on your power armor to make you more tanky too. As you can see here, my physical and energy resistance is a bit higher. So yeah, keep that in mind with all the previews that I'm giving you. Anyways, as for the Strangler heart power armor, which I'm sure a lot of you are curious about as well, since it does cost gold bullion too. But yeah, as you can see with this full set, I have 455 physical damage resistance, 395 energy resistance, and a whopping 500 radiation resistance. So yeah, that's just some power armor sets for some examples for y'all. Now let's go ahead and preview the T65 power armor sets. Let's just start this preview off with stating the incredible resistance stats that you'll have when using this full T65 power armor set. Alright, so as you can see, we have 567 physical damage resistance, 472 energy resistance, and a whopping 670 radiation resistance. Keep in mind though, that should technically be 470 radiation resistance, but a Rad-X is being used, so mutations are temporarily disabled. In case you don't know, grounded increases your energy resistance and whatnot. So yeah, this is around the base stats of the T65 power armor. Technically, the exact base resistance stats for the T65 is 565 physical damage resistance, 470 energy resistance, and 470 radiation resistance. So that makes this power armor the strongest one that you can currently get in the game. I don't know what's in store for the future, but at the moment this power armor has the best resistance stats overall. The only other power armor that has something higher than the T65 power armor is the Strangler heart set that has 500 radiation resistance. But still, the T65 comes with 470, so it's not that big of a loss, especially if you're comparing the physical and energy resistance. The T65 stomps the Strangler heart in those stats. Also, the Strangler heart is only giving like 1% extra damage. And of course, depending on your build, you can have way more resistance than just 565 physical. As you can see here, for this bloody build setup, we got 657 physical damage resistance, 662 energy resistance, and, well, the radiation resistance is still the same at 470. But still, that is a lot of physical and energy damage resistance. If you're a power armor user and you want the best of the best, I think T65 will be worth your gold bullion in time. There are players out there who think differently over investing gold bullion into the T65 power armor set, just because there's power armor out there that we can just get regularly and it can be just as useful, such as the T51B. But as I showed you previously, T65 still remains to have the best overall resistance stats. It's just going to be a grind to get. It's going to take 6,900 gold bullion. It costs 1,000 gold bullion for the right leg, 1,000 for the left leg, 1,000 for the right arm, 1,000 for the left arm, 1,250 for the torso, and 1,650 for the helmet, totaling up to 6,900 gold bullion. So yeah, it's once again definitely a grind. That's without any modifications either, too, whatsoever. But this is worth it if you do typically play in power armor. This is, after all, the best in the game currently. I don't know what Bethesda has in store for the future, though. They may add another power armor that's just as powerful as this, that requires gold bullion to get it. Who knows, it may be a part of the Brotherhood of Steel DLC that's coming. There may be more things that we can unlock with gold bullion from that DLC. I mean, you get what I'm saying. Who really knows what's all in store for the future from Bethesda that involves gold bullion? Anyways, moving on to the modifications. Here are some that I suggest looking into, starting off with the calibrated shocks. This is going to make it so you're going to have more carry weight capacity, which is always beneficial. As you can see, it's going to cost you 750 extra gold bullion. I also highly suggest to invest into emergency protocols, especially if you're a bloody build. Especially. This is like mandatory here. As you can see, below 20% health, speed increases by 25%, and incoming damage is reduced by 50%. Emergency protocols, it's an amazing modification. Definitely suggest this to everyone, especially if you're playing as a bloody build. This is going to cost a measly 750 gold bullion. Definitely worth the gold though. Anyways, lastly up here, the modification that I suggest is the jetpack. Now keep in mind you can't have emergency protocols on at the same time as the jetpack, but with the mutation marsupial as well as the strange in numbers perk card on, you'll be just fine. I mean, you're jumping extremely high with that combination right there. Personally, I think the emergency protocols is way better to have on than the jetpack. It's benefiting you way more than just being able to stay in the air longer. Once again, as you can see, emergency protocols, when you're below 20% health, your speed increases by 25% and incoming damage is reduced by 50%. That's a lot of damage that's reduced. You don't even technically have to be a bloody build to be using emergency protocols. It's beneficial with pretty much any build to help you stay alive longer. Something else that's highly worth your gold bullion is the Secret Service Underarmor plan. As you can see, that's going to cost us 250, which is definitely worth it. And what else you want to get, in my opinion, is the Shielded Lining Secret Service Underarmor plan, and that's going to cost us 200. So altogether, we're spending 450 gold bullion here. Not too bad. Honestly, I'd suggest going after these first before you go after the armor sets, because the armor sets are going to take a little while to fully complete. But yeah, as you can see, the Shielded Secret Service Underarmor gives you 15 extra physical damage resistance, 15 energy resistance, and 15 extra radiation resistance. It's pretty insane, right? Also, it's going to be giving you 4 strength, 2 perception, and 4 into endurance. This is the best underarmor possible in the game. Now, you could switch up the shielded modification with something else if you want, but me personally, I just prefer shielded. It's a great one to go with. But anyways, check this out. Let's go ahead and compare it to the Shielded Urban Operative Underarmor. As you can see, yeah, pretty big difference there, right? Once again, this is the best Underarmor at the moment that we can get currently in the game. It's insane, and definitely worth our gold bullion. This is just some extra stats for us, and currently the best extra stats that we can possibly get on Underarmor at the moment. Alrighty, so that's it for the armor sets. Now let's go ahead and get into the weapons, which are the compound bow. Wait, never mind, that actually costs us caps now that I think about it. Anyways, there's also the Gauss pistol, the plasma caster, the Gauss shotgun, the melee weapon called the Gauntlet, and last but certainly not least, the Gauss minigun. Now, these are all great weapons, don't get me wrong, but I guess I'll go ahead and give my opinion on what I think is worth it and what's not. Now, if you are a pistol build, which is pretty rare to see, but there are a few out there, the Gauss pistol is worth it. The only thing to keep in mind is about the Gauss pistol is that it has a slower fire rate on it. But overall, it's definitely a solid pistol to get your hands on. If you're not a pistol build, then of course, this isn't worth your gold bullion. And that factors in with all of the weapons that we can get with gold bullion. If your build isn't based around the weapon that you're wanting to get, then I suggest first basing your build around the weapon and then get the weapon that you're wanting with gold bullion. As you see here, we don't really have a pistol build going on. We only got one max level 3 gunslinger perk card, and keep this in mind also, this is a non-automatic pistol. So if automatic pistols are your thing and you are a pistol build, then I don't really suggest getting this Gauss pistol because it is a non-automatic pistol. This pistol revolves around charging it up to get more damage, but spamming your shots can also still do the trick. Definitely a top tier pistol if you do rock a non-automatic pistol build. This is definitely worth our gold bullion. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it has incredible range for a pistol too. It's insane. The price tag we're looking at for this weapon is a measly 250 gold bullion. Like I mentioned before, well worth it if you are utilizing, once again, a non-automatic pistol build. Okay, I think I said that enough. Like, dude, shut up. We get it. The Gauss pistol is meant for non-automatic pistol builds. You can shut up about it. Anyways, now let's go ahead and check out the Plasma Caster, which is also sold by Regs. The price tag for this weapon is 750 gold bullion. Personally, to me, if you are a heavy weapons build, I don't think this weapon is worth it. I don't really like the playstyle to this weapon. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think the Plasma Caster is worth it? I prefer using the Gauss minigun on my heavy build rather than the Plasma Caster. But don't get me wrong, I have seen some good players out there using the Plasma Caster and doing well with it. They had a solid setup for it. I don't know. I just don't really prefer the Plasma Caster. I'd rather the Gauss minigun for my heavy weapon. So I don't really suggest spending the 750 gold bullion on the weapon, unless you're really just wanting to try it out. But here's how it fires. As you can see, it's a bit slower for a heavy weapon, but I will say each shot can do some serious damage, and it has some incredible range and accuracy. So I guess it really just boils down to the player's playstyle on whether or not this weapon is going to be truly worth the gold bullion. Personally, to just be brutally honest, I would suggest just not to purchase this. However, if you're a heavy weapon user, something that I do suggest for you to purchase with gold bullion is the Gauss minigun, which you get this from maxing out the Raider's reputation. Once you max out the Raider's reputation, you just speak to Mortimer here, and as you can see, you'll be able to purchase the Gauss minigun for 750 gold bullion. Also, if you want to invest more into this weapon, which I do suggest to, be sure to check out the modifications as well that'll be sold from Mortimer 2 once you officially max out the Raider's reputation. This weapon is amazing. It's like the closest thing that you're going to be getting to a legacy weapon regularly, because it comes with a little bit of explosive damage already with each shot because of the way it fires. And as we know, legacies are explosive energy weapons. So yeah, and this thing can have an insane amount of damage, which I showed you previously on how you roll legendaries. It's just the same scenario. You get the legendary modules, and then instead of going to the armor's workbench, you just go to the weapons workbench and then craft the Gauss minigun over and over until you get one that has the right legendary effects that you're wanting. And of course, you're going to have learned the Gauss minigun plan that you got from Mortimer in order to even craft legendary Gauss miniguns. But yeah, if you're a heavy build and you don't have a solid heavy legacy weapon to use, then this weapon is definitely something that I recommend investing your gold bullion into. It's without a doubt one of the best heavy weapons currently in the game, depending of course on your legendary rolls. So I'd say it's worth the 750 gold bullion for sure. I'm going to go ahead and show you some damage comparison to the Plasma Caster. As you can see here, with this 2-shot Gauss minigun, we're looking at about 250 damage. And keep in mind, I'm not really rocking a heavy build setup to its fullest potential. And we're still looking at 250 damage. Now here is with the Plasma Caster. Same exact setup, and as you can see, we're doing 164 ballistic and 164 energy. I didn't change up anything whatsoever with perk cards. So yeah, you're getting a little bit more damage per shot with the Plasma Caster, but you gotta think about how slow it fires compared to the Gauss minigun. The Gauss minigun's fire rate is way faster than the Plasma Caster. So knowing that information about its fire rate, that means that the Gauss minigun is going to be dealing more damage over time toward enemies, because it has more DPS because of its fire rate. Overall, the Gauss minigun is way more useful than the Plasma Caster, at least for me and my playstyle, and a lot of other players have agreed with me that I've talked to as well. The Gauss minigun is better than the Plasma Caster. Anyways, if you are a melee user in the game, the Gauntlet may be something that you'd be interested in spending your gold bullion on. You'll be able to purchase this from Samuel once you have reached the friendly reputation with the settlers, and it only costs a measly 250 gold bullion. You can also get shock pads for a modification on it as well, which will cost you an additional 50 gold bullion. So altogether, you're spending 300 gold bullion on this melee weapon. The only thing is, if you have a power power fist available with the effects that you're wanting. For instance, a solid power fist, in my opinion, would be this: bloodied, faster swing speed, and +1 strength. And as you can see, the damage that is on this is 3,084. And now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Gauntlet without changing a thing. For some comparison here, I'm doing 2,790 ballistic and 200 additional energy damage from the shock pads. So altogether, 2,990 damage with this bloodied Gauntlet with the same exact effects. So yeah, believe it or not, the Gauntlet is weaker than the Power Fist. Keep in mind though, the Power Fist is only going to have higher damage if it has that puncturing mod added. But still, nonetheless, it outperforms the Gauntlet overall. But what makes this so special and worth it to purchase is because you can find the effects that you're actually wanting on the Gauntlet way faster than you can find some good effects on a Power Fist. Trying to find a random solid Power Fist is going to take a very long time compared to just crafting the Gauntlet over and over and over until you get the right one. Because every time you craft it, you have a chance at getting the effects that you want. However, with a Power Fist, you're going to have to wait for it to drop from a random legendary enemy, or get it from the purveyor. And you're not only specifically getting the Power Fist as a melee weapon from the purveyor, you're getting all kinds of different other melee weapons too. So overall, if you are looking for a solid melee weapon, this is something I would suggest to purchase because you can keep crafting these until you get a solid one. Personally, to me, I think this is way faster to get a god tier legendary melee weapon compared, once again, from trying to get it from the purveyor or from a random legendary enemy.
Anyways, last weapon up here that I'm going to be covering is the Gauss Shoddy. This thing is an absolute monster. Like, this weapon can still be good even if you're not a shotgun build. But when you are rocking a shotgun build, this thing is just... it's ridiculous. This is definitely the best shotgun in the game. In order to get this insane weapon, you're going to have to max the Settler's Reputation. So it seems like the good weapons that you want to invest your gold bullion in are from each of the factions once you got them maxed. You get an insane heavy weapon from maxing out the Raiders faction reputation, and you get a shoddy from maxing out the Settler's Reputation. Definitely both worth it to get your hands on, and definitely worth the gold bullion. The real grind is going to be coming from the legendary modules, trying to get the right legendary effects on your weapons.
Okay, so yeah, that's all the weapons that I suggest to spend your gold bullion on. I know there are more out there that you can get, such as the cattle prod or the floater grenades, but I truly don't think they are worth the gold bullion unless you're just a collector and want to get them all. However, if you are interested in a review over like the cattle prod or grenades or something else that I may not cover in this video, feel free to check out my Settlers and Raiders reputation guide. More than likely I covered it in that video. I pretty much covered everything that you can get all the way up to maxing the reputation. I'll have links down below in the description to those comprehensive videos. In this video, I'm just trying to go over things that I think are worth the gold bullion. Which now I'm going to be covering more items that you can get from the Settlers faction as well as the Raiders faction. I guess I'm going to go ahead and start off here with the Settlers. We already know that we can get the Gauss Shoddy and the Gauntlet because, well, I've already covered those in this video. But something else that is pretty valuable from the Settlers, depending on whether or not you got it from going through the story, is the Chinese stealth suit. But keep in mind, this is only worth the gold bullion if you have not got the Chinese stealth suit yet. You can get this suit without spending any gold bullion whatsoever, as long as you complete the Invisible Ties questline for the Settlers, which I'm not going to spoil too much within this questline, but within this you are going to be encountering Jin's mom. It doesn't really matter what you decide to do within this questline, you're still going to be rewarded the Chinese stealth suit at the end. You'll get the full suit. But if you missed this questline, and believe it or not, there are tons of players that did, because there's players out there, if they are siding with the Raiders, they don't want to involve themselves with the Settlers whatsoever. But you can involve yourself with the Settlers and Raiders until the Vault 79 heist. That's when you're going to have to choose a side. So be sure to do all of the quests that you could possibly do before the Vault 79 heist. Because as you can see here, for example, you can get some valuable things such as this Chinese stealth suit. You also get some great faction reputation to help you out, because you are going to be wanting to try to max both of the factions out. Typically how it goes is whichever one you try to go through the heist with is the one that you're going to be maxing out first. But doing all the quests for both sides will definitely help you get to max faster with both of the factions' reputations, of course. Which, speaking of reputation, you're going to have at least the rank of neighborly to be able to purchase the Chinese stealth suit. Now keep in mind, however, it is pretty pricey. The stealth suit's going to be costing you 4,000 gold bullion, and the helmet's going to be costing you 1,650 gold bullion. So a total of 5,650 gold bullion to get the full stealth suit. But I say it's worth it if you didn't do that quest, because it is the best of the best. And also, in case you don't know, this does work as like a hazmat suit, so you're not going to be able to wear like your Secret Service armor pieces with the Chinese stealth suit. It doesn't count as like an Underarmor or anything like that. It counts as like a regular armor set. You can't equip nothing with it. So yeah, it works like a hazmat suit. As you can see, it gives 1,000 radiation resistance, but it also works kind of like armor too, because it gives us energy and ballistic resistance. As you can see, it gives us 140 ballistic damage resistance and 140 energy damage resistance, which this is what mainly makes the Chinese stealth suit worth the gold bullion. However, the helmet doesn't give any damage resistance, but it does prevent damage and disease from airborne and waterborne hazards. But still, I mean, overall, a regular old hazmat suit doesn't give you any kind of damage resistance. This Chinese stealth suit, however, does. So yeah, definitely worth it in my opinion, once again, if you've already been through the Vault 79 heist and you missed that quest that does reward you it. Anyways, next up here, you're going to have to max the Settler's reputation to get this, but I do think it is worth the gold bullion. It costs us 750 gold bullion, and it is called the Turbo Fertilizer. This thing is extremely useful. Once you learn the plan, you'll be able to place this thing down in your camp, and this will generate a fertilizer bomb. And what this fertilizer bomb will do will regenerate your crops immediately. So you'll be able to stock up on whatever you're trying to stock up on. Maybe you're wanting to make a bunch of food, or maybe you're trying to get adhesive, or you're trying to get some kind of certain alcohol beverage. This will definitely make it so you'll be able to make way more, way faster. Just check out this gameplay and see how fast they regenerate. It is instantly. You can also craft the fertilizer bombs too. You don't have to necessarily wait for them to generate in this machine. Unfortunately though, this doesn't work with flux. That would be awesome if it could immediately generate flux back. But yeah, unfortunately, once again, the bomb doesn't work with any kind of flux. But overall, I'd say it's definitely worth the 750 gold bullion. It's going to speed up the process of collecting mass amount of crops and crafting whatever you're trying to craft with the crops. There's tons of different things that we can cook up. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that's useful and worth the gold bullion to me from the Settlers faction. I mean, there is like the farmable dirt tiles that's worth 500 gold bullion, but you could pretty much just place crops wherever there's soil at. So, I mean, the farmable dirt tiles can be beneficial in certain scenarios though, and they help protect your crops because you can enclose them. But I don't really feel like they're really worth it to put on this list in this video. Some of you may think differently of that. I think other things are worth it more to invest in first, such as like the armor sets or the weapons and modifications that attach to them. I feel like you're getting more benefits out of those. But anyways, now let's go over a few things from the Raiders. To start this off, one of the things that I think is worth it, believe it or not, is the Chemist backpack modification. This is going to cost 350 gold bullion, and this is great to have if you utilize a Junkie's build. All you have to do once you've learned the plan is just simply go up to an armor's workbench and then go to modify under the backpack category, and as you can see, we can now craft the Chemist backpack modification. It doesn't take much whatsoever to make the mod. All it needs is 2 copper and 6 plastic, and this will reduce all your chem weight by 90%. However, it does not stack with other perk cards, for instance the traveling pharmacy. But nonetheless, you're not going to be having to use the traveling pharmacy perk card now when you are rocking this backpack. So now you can use those perk points for something else instead of using traveling pharmacy. And as we know, as a Junkies build, we do utilize chems quite a bit. So this is something that you may want to look into. Oh, and by the way, to acquire the Chemist's backpack modification, you're going to have at least neighborly reputation with the Raiders. Also, another backpack modification that you may be interested in, but this one is acquired from the Settlers, is the Grocer's backpack modification. I guess choosing what modification you really want from each of these factions boils down to your playstyle. If you're a player who uses Cola Nut to heal instead of stim packs, then yeah, of course, the Grocer's backpack mod is going to be more useful to you. As you can see, this will make it so all food and drinks have a 90% weight reduction. And this will include cooked foods, raw foods, spoiled foods, Nuka-Cola, water, and even alcohol. So yeah, I guess it all boils down to your play style. So yeah, I choose the Chemist's backpack modification over the Grocer's, but some of you may prefer the Grocer's. Once again, it all depends on your play style. Both of these, in my opinion, are worth the gold bullion. They are both worth $350. However, to get the Grocer's backpack modification, you're going to have to at least be friendly with the settlers. Anyways, last but certainly not least, something else that I definitely recommend to invest in is the Armco Ammunition Construction Appliance. Now, you're going to have to max the Raider's reputation, but this is definitely worth it. This machine will automatically generate ammunition over time, and the best part about it is you can place it at your camp. As you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and pull up some statistics over this machine just to show you all how valuable this is. It's definitely worth the 750 gold bullion. But as you can see, this construction appliance produces a set amount of ammunition every 2 minutes or so. About 2 minutes, I should say. With the exception, however, of 50 rounds. Those will be produced every 3 minutes. The machine's container can hold up to 1 pound of generated ammo. And once again, here are the statistics that we're looking at for how fast it does generate ammo. So yeah, definitely worth it. And the best part about it is how we can just place this at our camp. We no longer have to go to the ammunition factory and fight over it or whatever. We can just simply have this at our camp and have it generating ammo while we're out doing whatever. Also, keep in mind, something important to know is that you can lock these too. So if you don't want some random players coming up to this machine and stealing the ammo that this is generating, be sure to put a lock on it. All you have to do is just be in editing mode and hover over the machine, and that's where you can place the lock on it. But yeah, I guess that's about wrapping up this comprehensive review. This took a very long time to make. I had a lot of help from my buddies making this. I didn't technically purchase every single item that you're seeing here. That would be loads of gold bullion. I mean, think about it. The T65 alone, how much that costs? That's basically like a month grind trying to get a full T65 set with some modifications on it too. But I thought this would be a pretty beneficial video for the community to send you all in the right direction on what to purchase, to give you all a little taste of pretty much everything that you can get your hands on with gold bullion, at the moment anyways. Bethesda may have plans to add more things that we can purchase with gold bullion in the future. But I'm out of here though, everybody. Thanks for taking the time watching and listening. It would be greatly appreciated if you could take a little bit of your time and leave a like on the video. The support helps get the video more passed around the community. As always though, that's totally up to you. Just leaving a friendly reminder here at the end. Until next time though, everyone, remember to try to stay safe out there during these unusual times. Peace.